As we enter into the last few days of Wimbledon 2025, the semifinals are set. Who's in? How did they get there? Who was upset? And what concerns do we have as we move into the next rounds? This is the Courtside Queen, and on this video, we'll talk about all that and more. Let's get into it. We're down to the final four people on each side of the draw. Let's talk about the quarterfinals and what happened on the ladies' side. In our quarterfinal matches, we had Sabalenka versus Siegemund, and we had Anisimova versus Pavlyuchenkova. These were two very active quarterfinal matches. Sabalenka and Siegemund played almost 3 hours as Siegemund almost had what it took to take the number one player in the world out of the tournament. Her unorthodox play has taken out Madison Keys and everybody else along the way to get her to the point of the quarterfinals where she got to stand across the net from number one player, Aryna Sabalenka. And I'll tell you what, she gave Sabalenka all that she could handle out there. But in the final few games, Siegemund just was not able to hold serve. That gave Sabalenka the open door every time she stepped up to the line. And so when it all came down to it, Sabalenka walked away, game, set, match, the winner of that match, as everyone expected. But it wasn't easy. As for Anisimova and Pavlyuchenkova, this seemed like a straightforward match for Anisimova. She got through the first set very, very quickly and was running away with the second set. And then something happened and Pavlyuchenkova shifted her mind and she made it a very, very close second set. However, at the end of game, set, match, it was Anisimova that walked away, and that now puts Sabalenka versus Anisimova in the semifinal. Now, here's the funny thing about this. Sabalenka has actually had several tough matches to get into the semifinal, and Anisimova has a winning record against her. She's 5-3 against Sabalenka. And so as we go into this semifinal on Thursday, it is going to be very interesting to see how Sabalenka comes out of this match. Anisimova is having a resurgence. She's feeling very confident. She's feeling very proud of herself. She's feeling very excited to be back on the court after her layoff. And I am just having a good feeling about what she's doing. I'm not sure if she's going to win this match, but I am looking forward to seeing how she plays this match. This is going to be a really, really good one. I do think at the very least, it's going to go the distance. And I would not be surprised if Anisimova takes out Sabalenka. If you remember, she is the last one standing of that list of 5 that I said could potentially win this tournament. Just know that when I chose the potential winners of this tournament, I did not put Sabalenka or Swiatek in that list. Speaking of Swiatek, let's move into our second quarterfinal in terms of how we got here to the semi. Swiatek played against Samsonova. She won that match. This was not a match that I watched the majority of. I do know that it was in straight sets, and Swiatek walked away with the win. She is extremely excited to be in the semifinals of Wimbledon. This is the furthest she's ever gotten in this tournament, and so her confidence level is all the way up there. Who does she meet on the other side of the net in the semifinal? Most people thought that it was going to be Andreva. Andreeva stepped up against Belinda Bencic, who went out of the game in 2023. She had a baby. She came back to the game at the end of 2024. And something has happened with her where she has been having just fantastic tournaments ever since she came back. She has recovered from postpartum in just a miraculous way. And she is going really, really deep in most of the tournaments that have happened since she's been back. And Wimbledon is not any different. She played against number 7 in the world, Andreeva, and she took her out in straight sets. 2 tie breaks, and she won 7-6, 7-6. It was a good match. It was a hard-fought match. Both players played very well in their own style. But at the end of the day, it was Andreeva that just could not get through the veteran Belinda Bencic. And so it will be Bencic versus Swiatek in the semifinal. Even though Iga is playing very well, again, this is one that is a toss-up. It could wind up being Sabalenka versus Swiatek in the final, which really wouldn't be a surprise, but it also could wind up being Bencic versus Anisimova in the final, which would be more of a surprise. But either way, out of these four ladies, there's still going to be a first-time winner of this entire tournament. And that is the thing that makes this most exciting, because anything could happen. On the men's side, we had Carlos Alcaraz, who played the Brit Cam Norrie to get into the semifinal. Pretty straightforward match, very expected in the way that it went. And then we had Taylor Fritz versus Khachanov, who played in the quarterfinal, and Taylor Fritz came out of that one. Pretty much expected. The two of them, Fritz and Alcaraz, will meet in the semifinal, and that will happen on Friday. The men actually get a day off, so they do not play on Thursday at all. That's going to be a very interesting match. I personally expect Alcaraz to get through it. You know, I picked him to win the entire tournament. I still stand by that. But I do think that this will be a good match because Taylor Fritz has improved so much over the past couple of years. He is playing phenomenally on grass. He has a huge serve. I do think that he can make this an interesting match. I don't think that it's going to be in straight sets. I think that we're going to go 4, maybe even 5 sets in this one. But I do think that Alcaraz is going to be the victor in this match to make it to the final. On the other side of the draw, we had Jannik Sinner versus Ben Shelton. Now, there was a concern about Sinner because in his previous match, he played Grigor Dimitrov. In that particular match, he had a pretty serious fall where he ended up hurting his elbow and had to have a medical timeout during the match. This was early in the match before Grigor ended up hurting himself in the third set and having to retire from the match. There was a concern about Sinner and his elbow. He needed to have an MRI to see how things were. We knew that he was going to show up on the court, but we didn't know how he was going to show up against the hard-hitting Ben Shelton. In that match, though, it was a close match. All 3 sets were close, but it was number 1 Sinner who just played at another level, and he came out the other side. And so he will be going to the semifinal, and he's playing the winner of the Djokovic Cobolli match. The Italian Cobolli was the other surprise Italian to make it all the way through the quarterfinal. He took the first set off of Djokovic. The other sets were extremely close. I mean, like right there, 1 or 2 points, and it could have easily gone into a 5th set, but it was Novak Djokovic who ended up coming out the winner of that match. But right at the end, there were only maybe 2 or 3 points left to play in the entire match. Djokovic took a spill on that grass. Guys, you know, I have always talked about how concerning grass is to me. I'm happy that we have not had a lot of injuries, on the grass this year, but he took a pretty hard spill. It looked like he could have hurt maybe the inner knee, the groin, the hip, something like that. Hopefully he's all right and he's able to show up in his full capacity against Sinner on Friday, but he does get the extra day off to recover, get any treatment that he needs, get everything checked out and make sure he's all right. And hopefully we will have an epic battle, Novak Djokovic versus Jannik Sinner in the semifinal, and the winner will go on to the final. So as you can see in the quarterfinals, the only big upset was Mira Andreeva. That actually did surprise me. I expected her to win that match. I expected her to make it through to the next round. I wouldn't have been surprised if she made it to the final. You remember, I had told you in another video that it could potentially be her and Madison Keys in the final. Well, now she's out. It's time for her to go get ready for the hard court season. I believe that she's going to increase from number 7 in the world to number 5 in the world. So her ranking did improve through this tournament. So we'll see what kind of difference that makes for her as she moves into the next few tournaments. And aside from that, we just get the joy of watching these semifinal matches and seeing who winds up in the final on the men's and the women's side coming up Saturday and Sunday. Finals weekend. Can't wait to come and recap what happens with you in the semifinals and the finals. I'll see you then. I hope you're going to be in front of your TV so that we can talk all about it in the chat. Listen, if you like this video, go ahead, hit the thumbs up. It costs you nothing to do that. And if you enjoy this type of content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you here so that we can keep you up to date on everything that's going on in the world of tennis. It's Rochelle, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.